G'day guys, welcome back. My name is Wildkard. Six Nations round 4, Scotland hosting Ireland for the Triple Crown in Edinburgh. This is rugby, guys. This is the best sport in the world, and I could not believe how this game turned out. I thought the Scottish team was going to win this one. Everything was looking so good for Scotland. Scotland came out this game completely taking a huge leap forward. They've taken the confidence they had from the last few rounds. They've taken that physicality they were building from the All Blacks game last year, and they combined, and they just went toe-to-toe with this Irish side. It was just brutal first half. The score was 7 points today. Ireland was only holding on to 1 point at halftime. And with that just 1 point ahead, the Irish team was facing more and more issues in their own team, almost like they're just getting punished by the rugby gods. People were getting injured left and right. 24 minutes into the game, the Irish lost 3 forwards. Hooker, a lock, and the number 8. 23 minutes in. And then in the second half, the Ireland lost another hooker. So the Irish team in the second half had to play with Josh van der Fleer throwing the lineouts and Cian Healy as a hooker. Okay? If this was any other international team, in fact, if this was any other team in the world, you're say goodbye to your set piece. Say goodbye to the game. You will get dominated than any other team in the world. But the Irish, this Irish team, just unbelievable. Cian Healy coming in as the hooker, having 3 forwards. The scrum looked better. The Irish team they just love scrummaging. It was just the passion that they had on the field. The scrummaging actually looked better, right? Just 3 mongrels going hard at the scrum, and the Scottish team was struggling against 3 props. And the lineouts, right? You figure, okay, maybe, 3 props do give them a bit of a weight advantage. What about the lineouts? Josh van der Fleer did just fine with the lineouts. And guess what? The Irish team, despite the injuries, actually played better in the last 30 minutes of the game. Yeah, it's incredible how the team able to find a solution to the problem and just not only, didn't just falter under the circumstance, but actually rose and met met the issue face up, and players stepped forward and bore the issue upon themselves and carried on, get the job done. It was unbelievable. Something, it's really something special that what the Irish team achieved today against Scotland. The Scotland team, really, again, unbelievable performance by the Scotland team. The Scotland team always had this issue where they kind of struggled under pressure. Again, this Scottish performance, they didn't struggle under pressure. They rose to the pressure, and they fought hard against the pressure. But man, it was close, but it was just not quite there. The Irish team really was just one level above. The Scottish team hung in there as long as they could. And I really thought, with all the injuries Ireland was sustaining, losing 2 hookers, I really thought the Scottish team had a chance. But no, this is just unbelievable. That first half for the Scottish team looked like could be, it looked like what literally looked like the number 1 team in the world in the first half, the Scottish team. It was indistinguishable in terms of which side is the better team against Ireland, right? The 2 teams look identical in their performance in the first half, and only the second half, the Ireland really took away. Big notes for the second half as well when the Irish put away is Gibson Park's big return. Jameson Gibson Park returning in the number 9 position, in the scrum half position. The Irish team immediately just took up another level in terms of speed and accuracy, and literally as soon as he got on the field, Ireland was able to put on 2 tries against the Scottish team. It was just unbelievable how much of a difference Gibson Parks made as soon as he got onto the field for the Irish side. So let's have a look at some of the interesting stats out of this game. So overall, 470 run meters to Scotland, 532 for Ireland. At halftime, the Scotland actually had 18 defenders beaten, whereas Ireland only managed to beat 7 players. So Scotland actually beaten way more players than the Irish team, despite losing this match. So that tells you something about the Scottish attack, right? That also tells you something about the Irish defense. How they're able to scramble and recover from any sort of situation they were putting themselves under, any sort of pressure they were putting under, right? Turnovers considerable, Scotland 14, Ireland 13. Tackle count 171 to Scotland. Only 10 missed tackles to Scotland. That is absolutely world class. That is like as low as you can probably get out of any international team, like ever, right? Like that is ridiculously good. Scotland, Ireland actually had a worse tackle completion rate. 162 tackles made, 25 missed tackles. Kicks in play, 19 for Scotland, 28 for Ireland. And the second half, especially the Irish kicking game, kind of kicked to another level with Gibson Parks on the field, faster breakdown, and then again Hugo Keenan is like superhuman under the ball, and with this kicking game as well. Just like the one of the, we'll talk about it in a minute, but one of the boys was literally like Hugo Keenan was able to beat Duhan van der Merwe, challenge Duhan van der Merwe and a high ball and steal the ball back for Ireland. It was just unbelievable. Like Van der Merwe, the Lions tour number 11. Warren Gatland thought he was the best guy under the high ball, which is why he selected him. And Keenan, showed him up a little bit today, especially in the second half. Lineouts, 4 lineouts lost against Scotland, 4 lineouts lost against Ireland. I think one of them was obviously, they had what's his name, Van der Fleer throwing the lineouts in the second half. A little bit rusty. Obviously, he's not a hooker, but still not too bad considering most of the lineouts went just fine in the second half with Van der Fleer throwing. One scrum loss for both teams, but the Irish scrum really dominated, especially in the second half. There was overwhelming dominance once Cian Healy went on as a hooker. There was actually one tight head, one against the Scottish team, and it was quite impressive. With that set, triple hooker setup. Maybe that can be the thing going forward, right? Having like triple hooker. I guess the Springboks can do this, right? You can have triple prop at front, so you can have like, you can have like Trevor Nyakani, and then you can have like sorry, not Trevor. You can have what's his name? Franz Malherbe, and then have Trevor Nyakani in the middle, and then have like Stephen Kitsoff on the loose head, and then you can have what's his name? Dion Fury playing a flanker but do the throw because he's also a hooker. So you can literally have Anyway, let's not talk about that. That's just some stupid dreams we can talk about another time. But yeah, it's just anyway. Where was I? Okay, let's talk about some of the tries that happened this game before I was distracted. Triple prop is the new way to win rugby games, guys. Anyway, so let's go through some of this interesting stuff at the beginning throughout the game. So right from the get-go, 6 minutes of the game, Scotland almost given away a try. Okay, they tried to throw a quick line-out inside their own 5-meter line, and the line-out went horribly wrong, went straight into Irish hand, and then Ireland just basically quickly picked and go and scored a try. And then everybody's yelling like, wrong ball. So apparently what happened was Scotland did a cheeky throw with a new ball. So you can't do a quick throw with a new ball. You have to use the same ball that was untouched by anybody else. So they got a new ball and did a quick throw. So that was actually an illegal quick throw from Scotland. So Ireland, despite Ireland scoring the try, that was disallowed because of a Scotland illegal play from the line out. So Scotland got off the hook from that stupidity they kind of made, and immediately there was a lot of pressure on the Scottish team. So basically, after this line out went awry, Ireland went back in the front foot, just absolutely pounded the Scottish try line. Like, it was just insurmountable amount of pressure applied, and eventually, what's his name? I think Van der Merwe was able to, push one of the players out. I think one of the players out to save a Scottish try. Scotland did have a penalty advantage, and Ireland, relented and given way, took the 3 points. So yeah, this was, there was so much pressure under the Scottish team. You could almost feel like if Ireland just pressured on, could probably score a try here. But yeah, 3 points. Ireland took that, and Scotland really felt like a sigh of breather from holding on to not conceding a try. 17 minutes into the game, Scotland gets himself into the front foot, and believe it or not, Finn Russell was just once again being absolutely a magician. He almost sent Van der Merwe through a gap, and then sure enough, the Scottish team was pretty much playing a very similar style as the Ireland team. Quick ball at the breakdown, albeit not as quick, and then just try to, direct traffic around the both sides of the ruck and try to get over the advantage line and try to recycle the ball quickly. And then eventually the ball comes out, goes back to Tuipulotu, and it was just like, a classic short ball from Tuipulotu to his outside center, Hugh Jones, who ran an unders line, just went straight through a gap in the 10 and 13 channel. Went straight through. First try scored by Scotland, 17 minutes into the game, 7 points to 3, and the entire stadium was going absolutely bananas. So yeah, by 24 minutes, Ireland had 3 injuries already. The hooker, Ian Henderson, the lock, and then the number 8. So Dan Sheehan, Ian Henderson, and Keelan Doris all just went off the field, right, due to injuries. There was no update on exactly injuries that happened, but anyway, they all went off the field. So suddenly, the Irish team is looking like they're going to have to play. It's already under the pump with the injuries, less than, 24 minutes into the game, right? So 27 minutes of the game, Ireland, once again, start building more pressure into the Scottish half. And once again, they kind of build some pressure, and then a quick ball comes out, went long to Mac Hansen. Mac Hansen tries going to the corner. Duhan van der Merwe bolts across the field, and it looked like he shoulder charged him out of the bound. But they had a look. He did try to wrap his hand around, but this was a huge hit on Mac Hansen. But Mac Hansen still managed to ground the ball before he was knocked out. So yeah, Ireland actually scored this try 27 minutes of the game. And then following this try was scored, there was a lot of just sustained pressure on both teams. And it was just incredible how both teams were able to just literally throw the kitchen sinks at each other, and no one was able to score any points before halftime, right? And second half starts 8 minutes into the second half. Ireland's second reserve hooker gets hurt, and I think it was Rob. Was it Rob? Ronan Keller gets hurt. I think he had a head knock. He gets taken off, and Cian Healy comes on as a hooker to prevent the scrum going uncontested, and Ireland has to lose a player. So Cian Healy goes on as a hooker. The scrum remains contested, which I think is a bit weird. I thought you have to be assigned as a hooker to be put on and contest the scrum as a hooker. But anyway, they had 3 prompts that was happy to play contested scrums, resulting in not getting a penalty. They had George van der Fleer throwing the lineouts, which actually worked out mostly fine for the Ireland team. And then the most importantly, on the 48-minute mark, Conor Murray comes off for Jameson Gibson Park, and then immediately, noticeably, the Irish speed went up another level. And this was just combined with Hugo Keenan, and his just like incredible high ball work. Scotland was under the pump. It was almost like Scotland was just suddenly not able to keep up the speed anymore, right? So there was a nice little kick over the top. Hugo Keenan runs up and literally managed to secure the ball out of the Van der Merwe's hand. And then following this ball was secured, suddenly the Scottish team is on the back foot again. Ireland just pounding the Scottish try line, and then eventually the quick ball out wide to James Lowe goes into the corner for the second try for Ireland, 56 minutes in. At this point, it was looking like, okay, surely, with so many players injured, the Ireland team maybe just got a bit lucky for this, right? But no, you really, the Irish team was not affected at all by all these injuries all this, extra prop on the field. None of this affected Irish team at all. Everybody knew exactly what they want to do. And sure enough, almost immediately after this try was scored, less than 5 minutes, there was another beautiful kicking game from Keenan, and Scotland was under a lot of pressure from this kick, and then Ireland was managed to get himself back into the Scottish 22 and just start pounding the Scottish line again. And then once again, after absorbing some pressure, the ball comes out, quick ball out wide. Mark Hansen threw like this perfect pinpoint flat ball to Jack Conan, who was on the wing, gets the ball, dunked into the corner, and suddenly the scoreboard is 22 points to 7. Johnny Sexton kicks it from the side, and it went from a game where both teams look really tight, and to suddenly the gap is looking like it's going to be too much for Scotland to overcome. And sure enough, that was pretty much the try there. That was pretty much, the Scottish team looked just deflated after this try was scored. They did try to come back, but it was like the energy, the urgency was just really fallen off quite a bit after this one. 72 minutes again, Gary Ringrose knocked himself out as well. So Ireland sustaining more injuries before the game was even over, and Ringrose knocked himself out by hitting his head on a player's hip, and then he was stretched off the field. So this was he's not looking like he's going to be able to play next week at all. And then finally, just before full time, you look like the Irish team was still in the ascendancy. James Lowe threw like a bullet pass to Gibson Park, who ran down the wing, and he linked up with I think it was with Conan, I think, and the Conan then linked up with James Ryan, and James Ryan was just running free, one player to beat. He gets a half break on the player, tries to do the offload, and then he fumbles the offload. It was literally just like a couple meters away from scoring a fourth try for the Irish team for the bonus point. But man, it was just insane. And also, just before full time as well, Ireland was able to get a tight head scrum win with triple props in the team, and the Scottish scrum was just really looking like under so much pressure with Cian Healy at hooker for this match, for the second half of this match. So final score 22 points to 7. That was just, I thought one thing that we need to take out of this game is that the Scottish team can't really just walk out of this game and say, hey, we did a great first half and that's good enough, right? Needs to really take the step forward and, not take complacency out of this. I think that's the main thing for the Scottish team. You can't just come out and say, we did better than last year. We went toe-to-toe with the best team in the world, and that is good enough, right? You still lost the game. Really need to, mentally get over that hump. That this Scottish team is not like a second-grade team. It's not it's not like that far away from the Irish team. It's not that far away from the French team. But you just need the belief to really get there. It was you really showed a little bit in Autumn Nations when Scotland lost to Australia and Scotland lost to the All Blacks. The Scottish team I thought could totally won the two games in Autumn Nations, but they just lacked that little bit of beliefs amongst all. Like some players, worked the butts off, but there are still just some of the players don't believe that Scotland is at that level, like mentally, and just really not getting. It's like a mental barrier almost. It's definitely not a skill issue. Definitely the Scottish team has all the talent, all the tools to win games like this. And I think really I don't want the Scottish team to get complacent and to think that this is amazing. I think I really want Scotland to take that final bit of a step forward, a break through that mental barrier going to the World Cup. And really, I think next week I hope Scotland can put on a huge score, huge win against Italy, and really show that they deserve to be at top of the pecking order going to the World Cup. But let me know your thoughts on this game, guys. I was thoroughly entertained, and thanks for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe, yada, yada, yada. I'll see you guys next week. Cheers.